All right. Good morning, everybody. It looks like we are all set for today. So, welcome. Happy Tuesday. And as always, my name is Jared. This is Engineering the Markets. It is June 14th, 2022. And let's go over yesterday's trade. Let's quickly glance at the S&P expected move, which I didn't have drawn on my chart as of yesterday. Wanted to show where those price levels exist, and this is based around our Friday close and about a 132 point expected move. So I cautioned yesterday the idea that the market was a bit inefficient over the past couple of weeks with the expected move. The market has had two closes outside, and both of them have been 2 sigma deviations. So we've seen basically the expected move be wrong by a factor of 2 over the past couple of weeks. Now, whenever the market is in this sort of state of turmoil, you often will see a lot of inefficiency around those particular price levels. You're not going to see as clear or clean of bias, and even the idea of the expected move starts to expand because of that basically increased volatility that the market is experiencing. So as of yesterday, those prices were 4,033 to the top side. And this is based around our Friday close, along with 3769 to the downside. As you can see, yesterday, due to the volatility and the continual momentum to the lower bounds, we actually did already have a breach and a closure outside of the expected move. Once again, this is for the week, not necessarily for each and every session. So it goes to show that the market is really not capitalizing this volatility very well. In one session, whenever you move a full expected move for the week, oftentimes you're going to see volatility adjust. And as we look into the current S&P expected move for the remainder of the week, you can see that they've already repriced at another 140 points of movement based around our current prices. So the market is basically saying, yeah, we've already moved a massive 150 points to the downside. We can still move 140 points in either direction based on yesterday's close. So the market's really having a difficult time capturing what the price movement should look like and where those bounds should exist, which is essentially how we get a lot of more wild and usually unexpected trade at times during the intraday session. This can be kind of quantified even more directly with how quickly our volatility readings have changed. As I mentioned before, the time to really get long volatility is maybe coming past. You may want to let this fade a bit. But if you're thinking we're going to get a more impactful spike to the top side, that is also still in the cards. We're not necessarily seeing the VIX back off anytime soon. In fact, we're just getting started. So definitely want to keep your risk in check during this period. Volatility is back into backwardation, as I mentioned yesterday, and that occurred over the course of a couple of sessions. So it's very wild. I would say almost binary trade that's occurring in both directions. Additionally, when you look at now, there are larger institutions reaching for that volatility, needing the hedge, paying for the hedge. This can be kind of quantified with what was once a more complacent market. Lots of things were hitting some extremes. These readings were basically unforeseen given the market volatility we've been in for a while. And over the course of a couple of sessions, that has changed, and we're getting these massive spikes off of lows. So no matter how you look at this, the market certainly has woken up. And unfortunately, for a lot of people, that volatility is to the downside, as we are officially in a bear market in the S&Ps. Based around yesterday's close, we did have our first 20% from all-time high closure below that particular price level. So let's see. Kind of lost my train of thought there. Shoot. There was something I was going to look at, but I'm going to just go over really quickly. Dollar strength. That's continuing. I remember now. So what's the reason for this volatility? What's on deck this week that has the market a bit concerned? Well, if you're looking at your economic calendar and if you've been paying attention, a lot of people are trying to understand and respond accordingly to what the Fed is about to do. And if you recall from yesterday, we looked at this particular probability ratings for the target Fed fund rate. If you recall from yesterday as well, these numbers might look very different. In fact, we can compare what yesterday looked like to what today looks like. And over the course of a single session, yesterday, the market was pricing in about a 2 out of 3 chance that the Fed was going to only do a 50 basis point hike. In fact, this was starting to increase on the 75 point basis hike based from last week. We were seeing essentially a non-event, very outlier style event of a 75 point hike. That obviously changed with some of the Friday readings. We were seeing that probability increase, but it was still basically the underdog. As of this morning, if you're looking at current probability, the market is saying that the Fed has a 94% chance of doing a 75 point basis hike. So what has changed over the course of a session is the probability has shifted. Market now pretty much as a unanimous agreement is saying that the Fed really has no choice. They need to do a larger than average, a more aggressive rate hike based on some of the inflationary readings that we're seeing, and simply as a way to counter what is, for the most part, obvious to a lot of market participants, which is this inflation is not going to go anywhere anytime soon until we start to stall certain aspects of economic growth, along with keep certain conditions of the economic cycle in place. For the Fed, really, they only have so many tools, and this is one of them, but they need to be more aggressive. In this regard, the market is trying to price around these new probabilities. This is a very dramatic shift all in one session, and I think a lot of the volatility that we're seeing is based around these probability changes actively happening each and every day. You can also look out into our next meeting, which is basically out in July, and you'll notice that these probabilities are changing as well. Obviously, if we do get a 75 point basis hike, rate hike, then the probability of that occurring again starts to increase. If the Fed is going to open up the ability to be more aggressive, more hawkish in their stance, then that obviously becomes a force or a momentum that can carry forward into future meetings. So the assumption here is that if we do have this as our new target rate as of the end of Wednesday, we will obviously see if that's true or not. Then by the July meeting, we can also see another 75 point basis hike, leading us to approximately a 225 to 250 target rate. And I believe that should be correct. So essentially the market is saying that over the next 2 meetings, the probability of both having a 75 point rate hike has increased dramatically. And the market is certainly responding to these changes as we speak. So keep all this in mind. It's not necessarily actionable at this point in time. Market is definitely looking a bit ahead at these probability changes, but it is showcasing that the market is kind of calling the bluff of the Fed. They've obviously stated that they want to stick to 50 basis point hikes until otherwise needed. Market is saying that that is no longer appropriate, and the probabilities here are showcasing what the market is expecting for Wednesday. So keep all this in mind. Maybe keep this on watch today. See if this probability changes. Right now, we're looking at essentially a 20-1 odd that the Fed keeps their 50 basis point hike in play. If that does happen, this now is the outlier. This is the underdog situation. And if that happens, the market's going to respond accordingly. Lots of volatility left to come. So, smack Jared. Carlos is using the word smack me with 100 likes. That's kind of funny. Okay, so overall, there's not too much else in regards to conditions or things to maybe keep in mind today. We're opening not necessarily flat, but relatively flat compared to the past couple sessions. It's likely going to be, unless we have some other catalyst, a bit choppy overall because the market did move dramatically yesterday. We'll likely see maybe some consolidation around that expected move. So keep 37.69 in the back of your mind. Maybe a little bit of an oversold play if we start to slowly grind into that price level. And overall, with 3 days of dramatic selling, it's also very likely for the market to simply consolidate all of this move. More from a technical sense, markets usually like to stall after very large and dramatic moves. So not necessarily the most bullish of sessions, not necessarily looking for the long today, but you want to be cautious of the consolidation. You'll notice here in pre-market, we've already gotten sort of that counter rally back into the expected move ranges. Keep an eye out for those sorts of opportunities. They're definitely intraday opportunities, and obviously trade them accordingly. Another thing you might want to pay attention to is what are the bonds and notes doing today? As we've seen, the bond market has been basically forcing the hand of a lot of market participants. We're seeing rising rates across the 10 and 20, 30 year. Basically, these rates are breaking out once again. We covered yesterday the idea that also the spread between different, bring this up just to kind of highlight this. The spread between your shorter term notes and your longer term bonds, depending on which expirations you're looking at, is starting to flatten once again. So at the start of this month, for example, the 2 and the 10 had a very healthy, approximately 0.3% difference. And that was a normal curve relative to those two particular products. We're still looking at inverted 20 and 30s. That has been true pretty much all year. But for the most part, anything below your 10 was either flat. You'll notice that in the 5 and the 7s. And then the 2 and the 10 is what most people refer to as the yield curve. It often is denoted that way. That is obviously changing very dramatically over the past couple of sessions. And what you'll notice is, especially over the past couple of days, just looking at Friday to Monday, for example, look at the type of change we're seeing overall. These are essentially rates of change in the interest rate that are so dramatic, they're looking like breakouts in our charting of the indices. So our 2-year has gone up to about 3.4%. You'll also notice that compared to the 10-year, we're pretty much flat at this point. This was also starting to be true as of last week, but we weren't quite there yet. There was still a little bit of a spread between these, they're pretty much flat at this point, a couple of small percentage points in between. Additionally, I'm only looking at the 2 and 10. Everything else on my screen right now is inverted. 3 to 5, 7, all compared to the 10, all inverted. These are all flat relative to each other. And what's likely to happen is we're going to see the 2-year either invert or flatten out with the rest of the shorter dated notes. So this is dramatic price activity occurring in the bond market. It's dramatic, probability changes occurring with regards to the Fed's decision. And all of this is what ultimately is what's going to drive the price activity for the next couple days. If we get any surprises here, if the market starts to back off, that can be more of a bullish expectation. If this continues down its path, and obviously if the momentum continues in the favor of the downtrend in the market, we're going to see a lot of this continue and a lot of shakeout until we stabilize once again at a core price that the market deems appropriate for this change. So yeah, this is another thing to kind of watch. We'll probably look at how in the future you can trade this type of activity. There are ways to set up basically spread flattening trades or spread widening trades. You essentially want to think about being long one product and short another. Certain platforms and certain brokers offer very easy ways to set up these trades. For some, it's a little bit more challenging because you're working with different sized products in order to set up the ratio between something like the 2 and the 10, or even something like the 7 and the 10. Different products offer different size for those trades. But this is something you technically can set up, profitable spreads upon. And, visually what that looks like is the market was wide relative to our spread between the 2 and the 10, and you're simply playing the inversion or the reversion back to a flattened environment, which is, as you can see, occurring now. So we'll probably look at that a bit more tomorrow. We've talked about it briefly during the last yield curve inversion discussion. So if you want to take a look back at some of those videos, but ultimately you're looking at buying and selling products that represent the 2, the 10, or just a note product and a bond product with the intention of going back to a flattened curve environment. So that might be something I can have Artie assist as well. Okay, so let's see. Last 10 minutes. Just trying to think what else is on the docket today. Couple of China names are up on the session. I would say they're not dramatically elevated, but they are going to appear on our gap up list. Once again, I'm kind of believing that the China stocks are pretty much oversold at this point. They have potential for more upside in the future. The way to think about it is they're starting to breach their longer term trend lines. For example, something like an FXI, we just ran into that trend line. Something like a GXC, same idea. You just want to take your general trend lines here. We're starting to flatten out a little bit more, testing that trend line with the most recent rallies and then pulling back in for something like a higher low on our weekly time frames. Baba kind of exemplifies that a little bit better with what the expectation is going to look like. And obviously this is less of an intraday discussion, but it is a more general idea that these stocks from a technical sense are starting to get outside of where they normally sell off from, the rejection point of the trend line. I'd keep a close eye on these because the volume signatures are starting to change as well. For example, on these rallies, the volume did pick up as we were kind of testing our swing highs. And as they pull back into the trend line, keep an eye out for some more long opportunities or the potential for them to get back inside, at which point it'll simply represent a false expansion and the potential for, additionally more downside, especially if the rest of the market is in a weak posture. So whether you're looking at just BABA, lots of other names that you can kind of target. I usually like to use the ETFs because it gives a more general sense of what the expectation is. But these volume signatures at the lows, the type of consolidation we saw following those volume signatures, and then the attempts to get out of the basically the high point of the bounce. When you're talking about trading ranges and liquidation lows or capitulation lows, you often want to mark the highs after the low is set and just kind of see where the market's responding. We just got that test here. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to break out any further, but that was kind of the condition needed to go further. We have to start changing longer term trends and obviously hold something akin to a higher low trend line, start to get more bullish behavior on bounces. So definitely keep those on watch. This is not something that's going to be short term. Likely the type of accumulation needed is going to take weeks, if not months. But if you're thinking more of a end of the sell, return of the flat type trade, you can start to set up neutral trade around these names and anticipate the idea of a bullish breakout maybe in the future. So let's see. I think that's pretty much it. I'll take this question. So XPEV would be, when talking China conglomerates versus China EVs, definitely kind of separate the structure here. Same technical ideas, however, if you're looking trend line, rejection or support, this is kind of where the market's testing at the moment, but they're not going to have the same capitulation lows that a lot of these other names had. So if you're looking at an XPEV or a NEO, they're not going to be the same type of a technical response. Can you please elaborate a little more as to what would constitute a capitulation move? Well, it's really about the volume. So whenever the market is clearly biased in one direction and the market gets to an extreme to where the selling actually starts to pick up a little bit further, or the buying, it tends to go what we consider to be a parabolic move. But big picture, these are monthly downtrends that a lot of these stocks are in. The capitulation that we saw over the mid-March period did have a catalyst behind it. And obviously the market responded in that time frame with a strong buy up. We hit a low, and then, for example, if you had just bought that low, you would have been up about 70% in about a week. Pretty strong bounce. From that point forward, though, the market is going to often consolidate. It just sets a low that has such high volume that the market simply can't break the low, but it also can't necessarily go straight up. It V bottoms, sets your highs and lows, and then you kind of trade in between. Usually when that happens, you want to pay attention to the next reaction. Are we starting to break trend lines? Are we starting to break the highs of the bounce on maybe something akin to a stronger trend? Or are we simply doing nothing in between, consolidating? And the idea is simple. If we're no longer selling based on the volume signature, then the next stage for the market is to go into a range. Usually that's the cycle of the market. You go up, you mark up phase, you have an overhead supply, it's too powerful, market will distribute. You downtrend, you mark down, you get to a point where it's too extreme, too oversold, basically a value play, and then the market trades flat. So these are multi-month downtrends that, from a technical sense, are no longer doing what they have normally done, which is to sell off against that trend line. So a selling climax and a buying climax signal the end of trends. It's possible that this is the signal of the end of a downtrend. The thing that's going to prove that is the type of range trading that we get following, and then, of course, trend changes in the future. Selling climax and a buying climax. Technically, capitulation and selling climaxes are similar. I think it's kind of like a rectangle and a square. Every capitulation is a selling climax, but not every selling climax is a capitulation. It depends on the trend that you're looking at, and obviously volume relative to your time frame. I'm looking at daily and weekly volume here. So the assertion is that this here is a capitulation on the weekly. It is a capitulation low. Doesn't mean it's the absolute low, but what it means is the market can trade sideways around it, as opposed to trending, which is where you sell every single rally against this trend line and you expect it to go lower. If that does not happen, then this is now a range and eventually could become an uptrend. It just takes time and obviously a lot of participation. So with all that said, my name is Jared. This is Engineering the Markets. I know not too much today to really pay attention to. I kind of expect today to be a little choppy. We don't have too much in the way of catalyst. We really only had one earnings name to pay attention to, and that was Oracle. About a $6.50 expected move as of yesterday's close, $6.50. We closed at 64. We went up to about 71, 72. So we're pretty much getting $6-7 of price movement already. Possibility to fade that move, especially with how we're kind of hitting some of the resistance points before the sell. So other than that, not too much else. Stay tuned for pre-market prep. Hopefully we can get some better volatility later today. But I think today is going to be choppy, and it's all in anticipation of tomorrow, which is going to be that reaction from the Fed minutes. So trade safe, stay tuned, and we'll talk more then.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to PreMarket Prep. I hope everyone is having an amazing morning. Hopefully, you guys had an incredible day yesterday. And as I mentioned to Melanie and Rosie this morning on the YouTube chat, hopefully, you guys are feeling better or doing better than what the market did yesterday. Good morning, Norm. How you doing today?
Can you can you be alive and be doing worse?
I don't think it's possible, given
Pretty
this chart.
rough,
Where
man. I mean,
yeah,
any hangover I've ever had doesn't even match that, I don't think. Maybe.
I agree with you 100%, and we had some pretty good ones, I'm sure. Um, Guys, welcome. Let's give Jared a big thumbs up. Let's get him to oh, we're 94. Let's get him to 115 likes or better. Every morning, Jared coming in and giving us some really good information about the overall market and what's happening there. So we appreciate that very much. As we move into things here, guys, let's look at the stuff we had yesterday on deck. We had Coin, we had SQ, Apple. Let's get our 5 minutes to kind of see a little bit more detail on how things played out yesterday. Again, the song and dance on a lot of these tickers were pretty much the same, but I'd tell you this much: the stocks that wanted to be strong, like in Apple, they seem to be more choppy than other ones that were just blatantly out, just completely weak. Right. And what I mean by that, look at Apple's chart here. You can see the back and forth action. Let's get our Epic pen going here. You see a lot of just back and forth, every candle overlapping the previous candle. It's just a lot of indecision going on here. And then you take a look at like a Baba, right? If you look at Baba, this was just completely disaster, just straight down, no, no way around this, no sideways action, just straight down at the market open. You did get a little bit of that later on, but man, what a beautiful short this was yesterday. And you had other ones. I believe Oxy was one that also traded well to the downside. And then you had stuff like Amazon, a little bit sideways action there, a little bit of a drop, but it just seemed like there were some tickers that were clearly not having any of this. And you can see the drop there. Beautiful engulfing pattern on SQ, and that traded well to the downside as well. And Coin was one that, did a lot of sideways action here. Actually went green. Well, not went green, but it did get a nice little pop here yesterday towards the upside. So pretty interesting there. And then we had some other ones: Tesla, AMD, Nvidia. Again, all of these guys just taking a hit. CCL, another one that went straight down as well. You did not get that sideways action as you did with Apple and some of the banks as well. So, uh, Norm, this market is interesting stuff going on here, and we know Wednesday's the big day, right? So fill us in on what's going on, latest and greatest.
Yeah, tomorrow's the big day. The meetings start today with the FOMC, and tomorrow, 2 o'clock, as always, they will announce their policy moving forward, and then 2:30 will be the press conference. You know, it 50 basis point or 0.5% increase on the Fed funds rate was written in this for a while now. I mean, Jay Powell pretty much said that's what they were going to do. And then inflation numbers came out last Friday and actually showed it picked up instead of eased. And a
Hmm.
lot of people are thinking 75 basis points. I've even heard as much as 100. Um,
Yeah.
we'll see. It'll be interesting. It'll be one of the more interesting press conferences Powell has had in his existence as Fed chair. So,
Yeah, I agree.
can they
I
handle
agree.
it? Can we have a soft landing? Are we too far past that? I don't know. We'll see. The market will be interesting. I anticipate a decent amount of chop. We had that big gap down yesterday, and then just a bloodbath essentially for investors. So today, wouldn't surprise me to see some chop. Does anybody really want to make any huge bets right before this move? So we'll see. Bitcoin below 22,000 earlier. It's right at 22,000 now. So still a lot of pressure over there. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. As a lot of people are mentioning, and you heard Artie and Andrew in their closing bell always talk about this as well. There's just nowhere to hide.
Yeah.
Everything is on the south side of things, so not looking too good. And you're right. Wednesday is going to be a big day, and I expect today a lot of chop as well. I don't think we are going to head lower here aggressively until we get more confirmation what Wednesday is going to look like. So, but again, just my thoughts. Anything is possible, guys. As we have seen in this market, I mean, just did not expect such a sell-off day yesterday after being gapping down twice here, and not just gapping down, selling off as well, right? So we've been gapping down and selling off, which is not a good thing, obviously. All right, with that said, guys, let's remove our watch list from yesterday. Let's get our list here together. We're going to do Control A, Control X, and we're going to bring in here our list. I did not link my trade ideas. Let's do that now. So we'll go here, tools. We'll go to external linking, and this little window is going to pop up here. What you can do here, hit add link, take your cursor, your mouse where you want that to link up to, hit shift, hit OK. This will pop up here, and you're good to go. Now, any scanners you hit that ticker on is going to populate that ticker in your montage. So here is Oracle this morning, gapping up 12.4. It has to be earnings because that's the only time we see this thing in our list. Earnings last night. Yep, earnings last night here. It's a nice big pop for them.
It was a nice move. I was watching it.
yeah.
I actually hopped on the at the closing bell with Peter and Brian for a few minutes right as Oracle was releasing, and it was a heck of a move, and then just pretty much sat there. I think Ed traded this aftermarket yesterday as well.
Nice, very nice. So today, guys, definitely in play up 12.5. Intraday wise, I don't know what to expect out of this one, but we'll have to see. I mean, these are not regular market conditions. Anything that's looking green could be interesting. So here's Oracle up 12.5. I'm going to put them as a possible because just intraday they could be a little sketchy at times. CLR yesterday, this morning up 9%, 118,000. Not a great pre-market activity as far as volume. Very light there, and for the most part, they're not even trading 3 million shares since May. They have not traded that, so very light on volume. Concerns on that being a good trader today.
Yeah, this one, there's a potential offer on here to go private. Great soap scum remover, not a great ticker.
No, yeah, not the best, that's for sure. Here's HUSA, which is this is oil, I believe. Am I getting?
I can tell you didn't get my joke.
No, I did not. No. Well,
CLR, it's that liquid that you can get like the soap scum off your shower head and stuff like that.
Oh, I did not know that. My bad. I didn't get it enough. I did not know that. What a name. Continental Resources?
Yeah, it's oil company, but they
offered
to take private. I don't know if it'll be decent or not. We'll see.
Yeah, sorry, I don't like the charts on it this morning at all. So yeah, it could be. It got a nice gap of 9%, but I'm not sure. There it is, Jared. Guys, here's we're looking at HUSA, which is I was confused this one. Is it oil or steel? Houston,
it's oil and gas.
It's oil and gas. Okay, so Oxy is the better one to look at for me. So I'm gonna probably put that one on deck. Is that gapping up this morning? It is gapping up 2%. So I'll put Oxy on deck here. We'll keep an eye on that. Up 3% this morning. Again, has been getting slammed, as you can see here. FDX, is this FedEx? Yeah, it is FedEx. Yeah, so FedEx here, it is up 8.5. What's going on with FedEx? Nice pop for them this morning. On very light volume, though. I don't see any earnings. I don't see what's happening with FedEx. Let's see what is going on
there. They some board governance and other things. I'm not seeing a huge
doesn't sound too interesting.
Here. This just popped up.
Yeah, it just came on. It wasn't there.
So it was not on the scanners earlier. It just happened in the last few minutes. So
Yep. Yeah, I know that because we were doing HUSA and this one just came out of nowhere. So let's give it a little bit. Let's see what happens. FedEx getting a little bit of a pop here this morning. Just started to happen literally, guys, 8:30 something.
They raised their dividend. Thank you, Pete.
Okay, right. We'll see how that's going to play out. FedEx could be interesting. I'm going to add them here just so we go back to them and take a look at them before we moved to the doing levels here. EDU again. This one another example of why I don't like this stock. Look at the drop yesterday. Here, it's just a lot of chop. I don't like this. This looks clean now, but I guarantee you that price action was not clean. At least I don't expect it to be. But a day like yesterday, you can't give these guys much credit because you could have watched Nvidia, Apple was a little on the choppier side, but you could have watched Nvidia, AMD, and some other tickers I traded very well towards the downside. Oxy, Baba was amazing. So plenty of other stuff that you could look at. Here's Lee this morning. They are up 7%, almost 706,000 shares traded. Their daily is interesting. Look at their daily here. They've been doing well. The Chinese stocks before the madness were like on a small little uptrend here. Today they're up not 7%. This could be interesting, but I'd rather look at what are the other big guys doing. Well, at least the ones that trade a little bit better. Here's Neo, like 1.1 this morning, and not a great gap up like Lee does. So does Lee have any news at all? They're up 7%. Might be worth taking a look at a little bit later on this one. So we'll put Lee here because it does look, at the moment, it does look better than Neo. EDU, we looked at Billy. Where's Billy here? Looks like a lot of Chinese stocks are up this morning. Billy,
Yeah,
Neo,
lots of China.
yeah, Baba. Baba was just incredible yesterday, guys. The opening range breakdown on that thing was great. I'm going to put Baba on here, guys, up 3.7 this morning. We have Oxy. American Airlines is on here. NCLH is on here as well. Let's take a look at American Airlines. Volume is a little bit light right now. Again, just getting a bit of a pop with the overall market, I assume, because there's not much going on there. And CCL, I want to know what's happening. CCL is up 1.2. Good volume of CCL, 1 million. So I'm going to add Apple and CCL on the secondary list just to see what goes on there. I think this is just going to move with the overall market if we're not going to get a choppy day, which is what I expect today. What's going on with the chats? I
Our
don't
buddy
have it up.
King just put up. He's cracking me up. Over
Yeah.
on YouTube, he's saying, if you're bullish right now, your optimism is unmatched.
Yes.
Good stuff.
It is a very risk off right now, guys. You got to be very careful. Again, you just got to have a plan, right? The SPY right now, depending on what your plan is, this is a great price. You know, some stuff is at a discount right now, depending on what your plan is, and the timing of your plan is very, very important. So it depends what it is. Just be very careful. If you're having to think to yourself, can it go any lower? If that's part of your process, that's dangerous because it can. It can go much, much lower. So that should not be a question you don't have an answer to or that you're worried about if you're looking to buy stuff and hold or whatever the case is. Peter to the moon. Let's see what's gapping down today, guys. Redbox taking a hit here, down 21%. So
I'm so tired of this ticker.
yeah, the fun might be over here. I always talk about it because I like seeing it, but I don't even put it on my list. So high short interest here of 37%, 8.8 million shares flow. Again, just I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it, but a big drop today for the this morning. You do not have shares for short, so I'm not interested there as well as I would like to be. Here's Don. This was up yesterday. Today again. How did it trade yesterday? I didn't keep it on my list. Oh, this was nasty. This was not good. You could just tell here. Look at the wicks. Look at the wicks here. Without even looking at the price action, I could tell. Look at this one here. Opens up, pops up, and I mean, this is not fun at all. Yeah, I don't know if anyone watched that one, but it just did not look like something you wanted to be a part of. The pre-market action looked a lot cleaner and nicer than it did at the open. So you had like two cans at the open, the rest was all garbage, looks like. So we're not going to be adding that to our list. Let's move down to AERC, another one that pops up here and there. Doesn't trade very well. I'm not a fan of it, so I'm going to move down. Also low flow, guys, so be careful. You need volume for low flow. You need volume in a good pre-market activity, and we're not getting that here. Here is Coin this morning. Coin is good. I like Coin. Coin, can trade very well. It did decent yesterday. It actually was one of the few stocks that actually rallied towards the green side and actually ended with a green bar for their day. Yeah, so that's good. So Coin this morning, it is down 5.3. Volume is 885. We'll see where this goes. The Coin is good. I mean, can it go anywhere else? This thing IPO'd at 300 something. Can it really go any lower? Actually, it can. Let me ask that question right there. It really can. SBSW, foreign company, guys, very choppy. We'll find something better today. And if we don't find something better today, that's okay. I think today you got to be... It's better not to trade today. It's going to be, I believe today's going to be a very, very choppy day as we wait for tomorrow and see what things what goes on there. MSTR, this thing is down 5% this morning. This is the one that Artie traded, right? Artie took a short on this, man. He good for him.
Take a short on that garbage.
Yeah, he crushed this stuff. So
it's Bitcoin, and as Bitcoin gets crushed, so will it.
Yeah, it's funny. I never heard of MSTR until recently. I did not know the word Bitcoin because I really have not been on our list.
This ticker was almost $900 about 6 months ago.
My goodness. Oh boy, oh boy. Ouch. 144 now, and Artie really just crushed this I think over the weekend he had a swing on this. So congrats, man. BMRN, no. A block trade, no good there. AZN, no, not like what I'm seeing here. And then Mara just getting crushed this morning. But I think you can find other stuff like Coin is probably a better one to watch. So I will look at that. Norm, I know it's not a lot that looks great right now. We might have to wait for the market open, but is there anything you have your eye on?
Skip me.
You'll keep looking. We'll skip you.
Skip me.
Straight to the room. All right, guys. I'm gonna try to look at both chats. I know there's members in our YouTube chat and also in our chat room here. So let's go to some tickers. What do you guys like this morning? MSTR, no value. Yeah, it's tough. MSTR is real tough this morning. I don't know as far as intraday trading. Is it any good? I'm not sure. I never really looked at it. Again, first time I heard of this ticker. MSTR. Is it any good for intraday trades?
I haven't traded it.
Yeah, I haven't even looked at it as much. I'll put it on here just to take a look at how this is. I know Coin is doing very well. Good volumes, a lot of opportunities there. We'll see what MSTR
does. When I've watched it, it seems to be pretty spready and can be kind of rough intraday. I haven't traded it, but I've watched it here and there.
Yeah. All right, we'll take a look on that there. Luna, is that a ticker? Or is that a hashtag? Is that Luna, the cat from way back when? Oh, okay. So
it's a crypto coin.
As a crypto coin? Oh, okay. No. All right, see what else we have, guys. What else you guys have? FedEx is on deck. We'll see what happens there. Just popped up on our gappers list. It is getting volume. It is climbing here, guys. It is up 9% now. So FedEx is definitely in play. Whatever catalyst that we have going on there. I'm not sure how strong that's going to be, but it is getting some action right now. So that's good. RDBX. Oh, we looked at this. This is Redbox. Yeah, again, guys, it's definitely in place. It has 1.6 million shares traded right now. It is down 21%. It might be a good one, a good short today. If the fun is over, it's going to come back down to reality. Doesn't trade very well. You can see the action yesterday here, how choppy. It's not shortable for me. Yeah, so I'm not going to be watching it. But if you do have shares, for sure, with your broker, could be a decent one today. Just be careful. This thing obviously has been memeing because there's no real good news or catalyst to make this thing go from
Harry mentioned that the deal with Chicken Soup. Chicken Soup was acquiring them.
Yeah, is that going through?
Chicken Soup for the Soul Entertainment. Apparently that's off the table. So,
I mean,
hopefully Redbox dies off of our list.
Yeah,
I'm tired of looking at it.
We know it's going to happen now. It's going to be here for another week, gapping down to $1.
Oh yeah,
so you're gonna still have to deal with it for a bit. All right, let's take a look. So that's Redbox there. We don't have shares for sure. Be big. This is Big Lots. No, something else. This is Binco Ventures. No. I don't see nothing good on this. Trash. Oh, so it's trash. Amazon. Let's take a look on Amazon. Amazon could be something here. I'm gonna add it. I like to watch Amazon. It doesn't look great right now as far as pre-market price action, but you do have volume 772 and it is up 1.4. And again, I don't think today you're going to have clean price action like you did yesterday. I don't think it's going to be one of those days. So CFC, that's for sure. We'll have to see. Daniel, AMD, yeah, we're going to go to our go-tos, right? AMD, we're going to look at Apple. Those are going to be on deck here, knowing that we might not get the cleanest day today. So AMD is good. Let's take a look at Apple yesterday, which I thought would trade better, and it didn't. It didn't trade as clean as I would have liked it to, but that's okay. We have the stuff that did very well. So AMD, Apple have the volume, guys. They're up slightly this morning. Just overall market movement there. Amazon is good. ABDE, a bed and a pillow. Yes, Harry, agree. Amazon, Tesla. What is Tesla doing? What is Tesla up to, man? Look at Tesla here, down at 654 right now. It's a good one to keep an eye on. It moves well when the market is trending. So you can always keep an eye on Tesla. How did it do yesterday? Actually, not bad. The pullbacks. Here's the problem with this market, and we'll go to announcements right after this. The issue with this volatility, yes, it's great when you're trending in one direction, but you could be right, but the pullbacks are so aggressive that they'll take you out of the move. And this is the problem with so much volatility. You could be right in your strategy, but the pullbacks can be so aggressive and they'll just take you out. Right? If you went short here, you're stopped out. If you went short here, you're stopped out. It's just, it could be a pain. when it comes to trading this type of market. But let's go to announcements, guys. We got a decent list today. Again, we got to wait to see what the market open gives us and how this SPY is going to be. Are we going to get a small rally into tomorrow's action? Maybe that could be something that takes place. We'll have to wait and see.
All right, guys, don't forget about the onboarding class every Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern with Carlos. He goes over onboarding and tech. All members, including trial members, welcome for that. Then technology immediately following that, 8 p.m. Excuse me. Kyle will be doing part 2 next week of Bookmap. Then on Tuesday nights, so tonight, this is an old slide. Can you go to the website, bud?
Yep, let me switch over there. Website here. Here we go.
All right. Guys, if you go to the website and go to the webinars page, you can find all of this same info. So tonight you're going to have the Rising Devil Fallen Angel strategy. That's with Brian and Peter. I believe Peter's still involved in that, even though it's changed pictures and everything else. Then next week, Andrew will be talking about his 1-minute opening range breakouts.
My bad. I'm hitting the button here thinking it's going to change. I got to scroll down. Here we go.
Mike tomorrow night talking about defining your trading why. And the following week is going to be talking about anxiety. Huge subject as far as trading goes. Then on Thursdays, we have mentorship. 11 a.m. with John, 4 p.m. or 4:30 with Ed. And we'll pull up Trading Terminal in just a second, see what earnings we have after the bell on Thursday. And then Thor at 8 p.m. Don't forget about StockTradingSimulator.com, our free web-based trading application. If you go to the homepage, Carlos, and if you're watching on YouTube and haven't been in the room, you'd like to give it a shot, you can go to BearBullTraders.com, scroll down about halfway down the page. Right there is the homepage. Scroll down just a little ways. You see this. Currently, we have the half off and a free coaching session with Dr. Kenneth Reed. That is code READ50, which will automatically be applied if you go for the Elite Annual right now. And intro, if you watch it on YouTube and have not tried out the chat, click that Join Now button on the far left one and use the promo code PreMarket24. That's PreMarket24, no spaces or anything like that. And you'll get a discount off the intro membership, which is a one-time payment. It does not recur. Come check us out for a week.
Yep. All right.
And speaking of, go to that tradingterminal.com. Let's see what this is. It's a beta version, so there can be issues. But if you go to the calendar, you can see what we got. We got Adobe. That's what I thought. Reporting after the bell on Thursday. So Ed will probably be taking a peek at that. I believe off the top of my head, Kroger is pre-market. It occasionally moves. Not a whole lot of earnings left in the stream as we get into summer and the end of this earnings season, but there's a couple that'll trickle in.
Yep, absolutely. So, guys, if you haven't done so already, check out tradingterminal.com. It's a lot of really cool stuff. And again, of course,
Dr. Reed's coming to the Market Close show today. Nice.
Oh, nice. Dr. Reed's the man.
Great.
He is a great presenter. He's a trader, psychologist himself. So, he can relate to the stuff that we deal with. Don't miss that, guys. 3:30 in YouTube. So if you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe and the bell. So then it'll remind you 30 minutes before, hey, we're going live with the closing bell, so you don't miss it. So, but yeah, guys, tradingterminal.com, pretty clean. And I'm a little bit biased to it, but for good reasons. I mean, look how clean this website is. There's no banner here trying to get you to join some madness and craziness. No pop-ups.
The only banner you got's that little picture of some dude in a tie driving a car down in the bottom left.
This is definitely an older
big
picture.
Beard, it would be better.
Definitely gotta upgrade that one. Update. All right, guys. So let's get to it, guys. Our list this morning, again, not a blockbuster list, but it does look pretty interesting right now. We have Lee with some good volume, up 7%. We have Baba up 3.5 after a nice sell-off yesterday, very clean. And I like the daily on Baba too. Look at this gap we have here. With the last couple of times we gapped up and sold off. So that is interesting on what's going to happen today. But again, the market is taking over a lot of these tickers. A lot of these Chinese companies wanting to be strong after receiving good news. We mentioned that in the past. But again, the market kind of slamming them down here. So I like Baba this morning. We do have coin on deck here as well, which I think is one of the better trading Bitcoins. Amazon's looking good today, guys. 1.7 up this morning. Volume is there. And I think this is one of the tickers that we're going to be trading for quite some time. That looks very good. AMD is a little bit on the choppier side. So at the moment, we'll have to see. Big sell-off yesterday. And on the Apple, we'll see where this goes. At the market open, we'll get more information on these two there. So, right, guys, we got a little bit of time. At 9 a.m., we'll start our levels here. Any other ticker that I might have missed? Something that does have maybe a catalyst that we haven't covered yet? What do you guys have here? Maybe we can get into something like that this morning. Maybe something we haven't looked at. Let's see here. I'm looking at the YouTube chat. Nope, nothing. You guys are good. So we'll go to levels. Yon FedEx. Yeah, I have FedEx as a possible here. It is cranking, man. It started going at 8:30. We just saw the catalyst on that. So this thing is definitely going at the moment. So all right, cool. If we don't have anything else, let's do levels here, guys. We'll start with Lee this morning. I like the daily here. This thing has been keeping up pretty well, although the market's been selling off. This thing has been doing pretty decent. Today they got good volume, and they look slightly more interesting than Neo. All right, so Neo at the moment here, it doesn't look as great as Lee does. So I have Lee instead as my main one. Neo can still be a great possible. You know they're going to get the volume in action. Right now they have 1.2 million shares traded. That's nothing to laugh at. So let's put Neo as a secondary here for now. But Lee seems to have a better daily with more possibilities here. Towards the top, highs and lows of the last two trading days, you got the nice area of resistance here, and you can see that this stretch between 28 and 32, or maybe 31 and 15 or so. Just a lot of back and forth action here, trying to break out of that. It's showing a little bit of strength today as the market is showing some signs of being in the green slightly. We'll see if that's going to hold, and if we have the strength to test like a 31.93 here, most recent highs on Lee. Above that, we do have an area right around 32.89, and then all the way up here at 33.73. That's a stretch, but again, we've seen big moves like this from Lee in the past. So if the market gives it a little boost going into tomorrow's talks with Powell, then maybe that is possible. We'll have to see. Here is Baba, guys. Baba's been trading very well. Today it might not be as clean as yesterday. I don't think it will be anywhere clean as yesterday. Yesterday was just amazing. And I mentioned how much I liked Baba yesterday, and we're able to capitalize on that at the market open. So that's good there. 102, 101.21, 102.78, highs and lows of the last two trading days. And once you put those two levels down, I don't think you need to add anything else, guys, because you just have tons of stuff coming in here. Previous day close, king of all levels. You have the gap here, which is very interesting. And then you have your highs and lows towards the top as well. So I think you're pretty set on Baba here, guys. You got good volume starting this pre-market up 3.6. That's looking good. Coin also on short selling restriction here, but we do have shares for sure on it. Right now, 989,000. The volume is there, so it's definitely getting attention. 47.84 is the low of the pre-market, and towards the bottom, we have 40.78 as the all-time low, right? Unless there's anything in the pre-market that I'm not seeing here, this is your all-time low, 40.78 on coin. So towards the top, guys, highs and lows of the last two trading days are doing an amazing job. You can mark down, if you want to get fancy, go ahead and mark down the high of the pre-market here at 52.86. Other than that, I think you're pretty much set there. So you're good on coin for now. Amazon yesterday got the volume, but just didn't really have a direction. Very similar to what Apple did, right? They didn't have a huge sell-off, and they didn't pop up like Coin did. Just kind of went sideways, kind of stuck in their range a little bit. A lot of candles overlapping the previous candle. When I see that, it just reminds me these stocks probably do not want to sell off. They're trying to hold here, even if the market continues to sell off. But eventually, everyone gives in. If the market's going to be weak, you're going to give in. You're going to follow suit. Let's see what it does today. 103, 104, 103.98 low of the pre-market. 105.74 is your high of your pre-market at the moment. And very similar to a lot of stocks as we've been trending down and kind of going sideways yesterday, you have your highs and lows doing a pretty good job. Your previous day close there. I don't think you need to add anything else on here. Here is AMD. AMD just again also getting a crush with the rest of the tech companies. High of the pre-market on AMD is all the way up at 88.90. So we have it there. Their pre-market activity today not great. 670,000 volume is there, but the pre-market is not really excited. We might find something else that looks a little bit better than AMD this morning, like maybe a CCL. No, not CCL. Maybe American Airlines. Maybe this one. We'll have to see it. But this is not looking its best. We've seen better days for sure. 88.90 high of the pre-market. The low is pretty much the previous day close. I'm not going to mark that there. Previous day close, what I'll be looking for is 87. And then if we were to lose, look at AMD. Just continues to hold this level. And we stopped there yesterday as well, right on there. This previous day close, 87, 86.99. This is a very, very strong level for AMD. There is a serious demand for AMD at this level because every time it gets there, man, it finds a way to bounce back up. A few times it did dip below that, but it quickly made its way back up to that 87 level. So let's see, can we hold that? Can we hold that throughout the day today? 85.44 is a good one. 83.25. Two levels towards the bottom that have great support here. As you can see, tons of support happening here and here. And obviously, look at this day here, dropped down and came right back to the level it wants to be at, this 87. So that's looking good on AMD there. Pre-market can look a little bit better, but we'll give it a little bit of time. So Christopher, yeah, Baba was really good to me yesterday, so I am giving it a lot of love this morning on Baba. So here is Apple, guys. Apple this morning up 1.1 with 1.1 million shares traded, up 1%. That is, and then we have lower pre-market 132.30, 132.35. So we'll slam a level there, and then very similar to everything else, guys. Once you put your highs and lows for the pre-market, you're pretty much set as far as levels, especially on Apple towards the top. Just tons of stuff happening here. You are taken care of there. Now, we have not been down here. Last time we were here was in May 20th, which was officially when we hit a bear market. Then from there, we really had a nice rally up to 150. Now right back down to 132. If we go back to the left here, we haven't been down here since June, May time frame of last year. So it's been a while. It's been a while. So we have 129.50. That is good. Another one on here, 130.57. I'm only going to mark those two. Again, if we drop below this level that we found some good support on, will definitely be interesting. But I think we're set for at least today's market action. All right, guys. Lee, Baba, Coin, Amazon, AMD, and Apple. We also have some good contenders down here. NEO getting great volume. This could be a good one as well. We have Tesla as a possible. Oracle had earnings. This could be, Oracle could be nice today, guys. It had earnings popped up pretty good here, up 11.6. Good volume. Did trade well yesterday. Norm was mentioning it. They were watching this after hours with the closing show, and also with Ed. Ed traded this yesterday on earnings, so that looks good there. FedEx starting to get going here. Let's see if it's going to do anything. Did get a nice pop, up 10% just a few minutes ago. So we'll be looking out for that one. And then we have the travel companies here in case we do get some kind of rally this morning. They have volume, but if you look at CCL, this pre-market activity does not look like a 1.2 million shares traded, right? Doesn't look like that, so we're not adding that to our main list so far this morning. All right, guys, we're all set. Let's take a look at levels on Oxy. Oh, what did I do? Did I mess this up? Hold on a second. Why is this? Did I have all these stuff empty up here for some reason? Not sure, but we'll scroll back down. Yeah, we missed Oxy actually. Let's go back. Oxy is a good one as well. Let's get some levels for Oxy. Let's go back to that. So Oxy right here, guys, up 3.4, 352,000. So that is good. Let's remove some older levels, get some fresh ones on here. 60, 70 is the low of the pre-market. The high of the pre-market slamming against the high from yesterday. So we'll wait to see what happens there. And then the next level is perfect. We have this beautiful area of support here around 63. So I'll wait for the pre-market high to kind of settle down. I'm not going to mark it now over at 62. You already have your market high from yesterday, doing a pretty good job there. And as far as levels, I mean, your highs and lows are taking care of you. You don't have to add anything. I will add 65. You do have a lot going on there at 65. Other than that, I think you're pretty much set on this one. Price actually surrounded pretty nicely with some good daily levels here from your highs and lows and the previous day close. So you are all set there. All right, guys, over on YouTube, our moderators are getting the list together. Over on YouTube, if you haven't done so already, hit that thumbs up. We really appreciate it. Helps the channel a whole bunch, so we appreciate your support there. So any questions, anything that we might have missed? What do we have? XLE, low volume. XLE, is this a ETF, right? XLE. Yes, Spider ETX. Yeah, you could definitely look at this low volume today. Yeah, I mean, guys, today I think your patience got to be at an all-time highs today, man. You gotta in the recap, if you missed the recap from Ed yesterday, he talks about this market, and you have to wait for your setup. You got to be very, very patient. He also talks about how to set your stops in these type of environment. You know, you got to give it a little bit more room because you know you're gonna get back tests on a couple of things, right? So make sure you watch that recap if you missed it. A lot of great information there from Ed and showing his trade. You know, one of them didn't work out. He went back. You know, he was patient, waited for another setup, and then that one worked out and covers the losses, right? So very, very important. This is the type of market you don't want to be a hero. You know, you don't want to say, it's not going to go any lower. Let me wait and see what happens. Because that's when people end up blowing up their account because it can go lower, and sometimes it will very aggressively, right? So just be careful on that, and then don't have such a strong bias that you're not flexible enough. It's okay to have a bias because I know traders that have a bias, you know, depending on a lot of market conditions. They're done their homework, done their research the night before, this morning, and their thesis is playing out. But be flexible with that bias because you might be wrong, and if that bias is anchoring you down to a direction that the market is not looking to do that, you know, you can find yourself in a very tight situation. So careful with that. All right, what else we have, guys? Anything else you guys like this morning? We'll keep an eye on the scanners as well. Turbo breakup, turbo breakdown are going to be good today, so we'll keep an eye on those. And let's see what else we have here. Oxy is out of the. Yeah, it is. It is. I think it can still be a good one. All right, I see Thor is on the chat. Let me mute that. Hold on a second. There we go. We'll mute Thor. He's in the chat room there. All right, let's see what else we have, guys. Okay, I think we're pretty much set, guys. So FDX, yeah, we looked at FDX. We have FDX right on here. So this is good here, up 8.5 this morning. We'll just have to see how it goes. You got this initial pop, and then it's just kind of going sideways. So it's not doing a whole lot right now. We'll have to see how that is going to play out. All right, Twitter, Elon going to a meeting on Thursday. Is he going to a meeting on Thursday? That would be fun. That's gonna be a lot of fun. So let's see what Twitter's up to right now. Man, look at Twitter. The frenzy is over for now. If he has this meeting on Thursday, that'll be interesting. But really not in play. You know, Twitter likes heavy volume pre-market. You're not seeing that right now. This volume is very light. There's really not a whole lot going on at the moment on Twitter. So, but Brian, if there is a meeting on Thursday, after that, it will be a whole lot of fun. No question. Redbox, we looked at Redbox. I don't like the way this thing trades. And I also think the fun is really over on this thing, right? Because they had a deal with I forget the name of the company now, of them being bought out. That is no longer taking place. So what you're getting now is, this drop here. We don't have shares for sure with Interactive Brokers, unfortunately. So I don't see this being a good one for us to watch today. At least if you're in Interactive Brokers, you don't have the ability to short this right now. It is down 22%, and I don't see any reason why me personally would want to take this long, especially if the deal fell through. If the deal fell through, there's no point in even looking at this right now, unless you're able to take a short opportunity on it. Indigenous pathways, yeah, your bias, you got to get your bias on check, man. I agree, and for all of us, myself included, because you could say, wow, it could be both ways. The market is weak, let me go short, and next you know, this thing it has an opening that rips your face off. Or, we've been too low, we got to bounce eventually, and the market continues to drop down. So flexibility in day trading is so critical, guys, so critical. Be wrong very quickly in this type of market. Accept the loss very, very fast, stick to your stops, adjust your sizing correctly, so then this way you're able to survive in this market conditions, right? And this market condition can actually be very lucrative as well, right? Because if you have good risk management, when you do get the right move, it can run very well for your position, right? So you can make some good money as well, right? So you get some good profits off this market. So it goes both ways, right? But most important thing, that risk management has to be intact. Gold, KOLD here. Yes, another one you can watch. ETF as well. They're popping up a little bit this morning. We're in the red, now in the green. But for the most part, I don't see anything. I don't really watch this one as far as intraday, but you can keep an eye on it. All right, let's take a look at our moderators lineup, guys. As we're doing this, let's go ahead and hit that thumbs up over on YouTube. We appreciate you guys very much. We have 835. I know a lot of these also are members, but if you guys can take a second to hit that thumbs up, it helps us out. We appreciate it. Carlos, do you think this environment is better or worse for someone to learn to day trade? I think it's the best environment to start to learn how to day trade. The best environment. As I'm researching this, I'll answer that question even further. What happens is, you guys remember in the COVID, when if you guys remember COVID, of course, who does not remember COVID? What kind of question is that? I'm acting like I'm talking like 20 years from now. So if you guys remember the pandemic, right? Right after, there was two things that was searched the most. It was COVID, right? The search term COVID, and stock market. Why? Because everybody was very excited once the stock market dipped and it was coming back up, and it was, you had all these bull rallies happening, just insane. If you go back and look at the SPY, it was like a V reversal, which I don't think we've ever seen something like that, right? All the money that's being pumped and whatever, all the stuff that was happening. If you guys remember that, I have friends calling me that knew nothing about trading, asking me, hey, what should I invest in? Hey, what should I put my money in? People opening up Robinhood accounts. There was just all this excitement because people get excited when it's a bear market. Well, that's an easy time to trade because you just go long on anything, you start making money, right? This is a better time to trade because you learn how to trade in an environment that's not as easy, right? And this is where you can actually become a better trader, right? There's some people now, and again, a lot of my friends and close friends that are no longer trading because they got into that market, they did very well, and now they held through a lot of the stuff, Bitcoin, all this stuff, and now they're out of it. They're like, I lost so much money, this and that. They're learning an environment that was not conducive to actually learning, which just kind of, not gambling a little bit, right? So don't get into the bias of, I want to learn when the market gets better. No, you want to learn now when the market is tough and you can actually, see a different type of environment and volatility. Let's take a look at our watches from our moderators this morning. We have no IPOs for today, by the way, and no SPACs coming on. We have Dima watching Lee, Coin, Baba, and Apple. Jared is looking at energy stocks, Oxy and APA, and also Indo. Secondary list will be scanners. I agree with that. Again, our list good today, but definitely scanners will be something you want to look at. Aiming potential shorts for today, mRNA, and Megan's looking at Oxy and Oracle. Oracle had earnings last night, did very well last night, and actually popping up pretty nice this morning. That's going to be in play. I usually don't like Oracle. Do I have Oracle on my list? I have it as a possible, but that's going to be a good one. I think that should be on my main list. Peter will be looking at this. Peter scan. Because you're sharing the scanners. Gotcha. So AMD, Neo, and Apple. Secondary list will be Oracle, Baba, and Redbox for Peter there. So pretty good list so far. Okay, we're all set, guys. 9:15. Thank you so much for joining us over on YouTube. Remember, today we have Dr. Kenneth Reed joining us on the closing bell at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Do not miss it. He's an amazing trader, psychologist. He's a lot of fun too. He's very funny. So look forward to seeing him this afternoon with Artie and Andrew. So do not forget that. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't done so. Subscribe. Hit the notification bell so when they are about to go live, you get an update. Because we get busy, you'll forget. Your phone will remind you, hey, it's happening now. Let's get on and see what's taking place there. So, guys, thank you so much over on YouTube. We will see you guys later today at 3:30. Have a good one.